What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode from Backyard Boys. I hope you guys are having a good day, and we are back grinding, trying to get this Audi back on the road, just simply because we've had this car for about 5 months, and it's just one of those cars that we never had time to get to. And in this episode, while we are working on the Mercedes, getting the next episode prepped out for you guys, we're gonna go ahead and attack this thing. This thing here has kind of a lot of body work. It's kind of very miscellaneous stuff, but I think I showed you guys in the previous episode, this was one of the cars that we bought during the first impact of the COVID and quarantine, and we got a steal deal on this thing. I think it was winning bid of, what was it, 32?
Three and a half maybe.
Yeah,
no more than 3.5.
No more than 3.5, but it was a steal deal. 32,000 miles, A5, no frame damage. But we got a dent right here from the fender initially getting hit and kind of buckling the door here. We got a little scratch right here, and then we got a dent right here from transportation. And I don't know if the camera's picking up, but we got some crazy smoke around here. I have no idea where the fires are coming from. At first I heard it was from Cali, and then somewhere south, Tacoma or whatever, our area. I have no idea, but if you kind of just glance over here, not too sure if the camera's picking anything up, but it's really foggy out over there. It's trippy. But we had some crazy windstorm too, and all the debris from the trees fell here. It's weird stuff, but we got to get this thing done. The hood here has a little dent. All this stuff is going to get pulled out as much as we can before putting any kind of glaze. And then we have one more final damage over here, which is an aluminum fender. So what I think I'm going to do is actually kind of pull this fender back, work with that dent as much as I can, and then glaze it out and make it perfect. But before we start doing any kind of work on this, we got to go pick up some primer. So let's go ahead and down to our local Wesco, get some primer, and come back and wrench on it. Got out of Wesco. This one thing right here, body shop rate is 30 bucks. It's expensive stuff. I think it's 54 non-body shop rate.
Jeez.
Yeah. So we are back now from Wesco. We got our primer. We got 2K primer, that good stuff. Make sure that we have no halos after a little bit of time, because usually when you get some garbage primer, you'll paint over it, it'll look beautiful, and then a couple of months passes and you'll start seeing that little halo spot from the primer. For those of you guys that are in body shop repair, you guys know what I'm talking about. So this door got to be stripped. That's the first thing we're going to do right now, because it's going to be a complete paint panel, and the quarter panel is going to be a blend panel, simply because this color here is just near impossible to match, and we know that. Take out the belt molding, the mirror, the handle, and we're going to start working on that as soon as we can. While that is happening, I'm actually going to go ahead and pull out my little spot dent, it's called dent puller, get that dent out, and then pull the fender back and start working on that. Let's get right into work. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Well, the door panel is off now, and I'm actually going to leave it at this because I still need to drive the car down to the body shop. And the reason why we pull the door panel off is just simply to make it much easier and faster for our painter. And then this here I can actually repair without getting, without the handle being in the way, and that is pretty easily repaired. So what I'm going to do is take this speaker off. That way I have some access into this right here, push it out as much as I can, and glaze the rest. Let's continue with the body work. So I'm reaching in here trying to get some access to this dent, and I can barely just feel it with my finger. So I think I'm gonna put the speaker back on, grind down a little piece of just, you know, take down paint material, and then use our little spot puller, get up some connectivity to it, and just kind of yank it just a little bit and tap the high spot right back into its position, and then glaze it. And the exact same with that rear dent and with this over here, since this is metal. But that fender is aluminum, we're gonna have a little bit of a struggle with it. So this thing here is actually a pretty cool little attachment. I have it on a drill with one of these, and it only takes off material, so it doesn't really ruin or make the thickness of metal any thinner. Put it on just like this, and then you see where you need to sand down. Watch this. Super quick, super easy. And then you get a little spot welder right into there, pull it up, and start knocking down the high spots and reverting that dent. Let's do it right here. So with this right here, our lowest spot is just somewhere right about here. Knocks down right through it. And then once we get that little pulled out, knock this high spot in, I'll see where else this needs to be grinded down. Let's do that same right over here. Boom. Super easy. Love this thing. So everything now is ready for mud. We got, you know, everything knocked down with 80 grit. It's looking nice and flush here. This thing is looking nice and beautiful. I don't even think that needs any mud at all. Just a little low spot right there should be solid. This is feeling absolutely gorgeous as well. That fender, as you guys saw, gave us a little bit of trouble because it's aluminum, but went ahead and kind of reversed that dent out, and it's looking pretty good. You just take a quick glance at it before I start mudding. I mean, right here you can still see there's just that little dent. I mean, this body line itself is nice and clean. This up here is nice and clean. Went ahead and taped here and here. That way I don't get any mud or sand scratches over there. Let's go ahead and get the mud out and start applying all that and start blocking, making it all flat and ready for paint. now that the mud is fully dry, we're gonna hit it with an 80 grit. Usually, if you're a little bit less experienced, I can say you would start blocking this to make it flat, or if you know what you're doing, you can use the DA as a flat pad and get these things basically perfect, and then prime, or then block just the primer. So we're gonna hit all of this, make sure everything's nice and clean, and then start working on that fender, because that fender is gonna give us a little tough time. Let's get it. Alrighty, everything here is ready for primer. This stuff feels absolutely amazing. You literally can't feel any difference anywhere. It's just gorgeous. Flat panels are super easy. I went ahead and finished it in a 180 and then 320 just to kind of get the scratches out of there. Everything is looking really nice. We got that body shop or body line, what am I saying, right there. It's nice and clean, and after primer you guys will tell, look super nice. And then on this side, went ahead and kind of lifted the fender up. I'm going to lift it just a hair more like this, that way I can mask off in there and get primer all around, and it should be looking absolutely OEM. Let's get you guys on a time lapse, get this thing masked off, and start priming. All right guys, so this is some 2K primer. This is some good stuff. Basically when you press this, it releases the activator. We got the car masked off. This stuff has almost no overspray, so it's not that big of a deal. Either way, the quarter panel is gonna be blent and the door is gonna be painted. Everything here is getting painted. If I do get any overspray on, which I shouldn't, it will come right off. So shake this thing up, get this thing primed out, test fit that front bumper, see what this whole thing looks like complete, and off to paint with Sender. Alrighty guys, well that is gonna be it for this episode of Backyard Boys. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode in particular. I know it may be slightly a little boring-ish one, but whoever's interested in this car, I'm gonna be posting it here pretty soon for roughly $15,000. So go ahead and hit the DMs down below. Everything is done for bodywork. Everything's looking pretty. We had a little scratch over here. We had a little scratch over here. Went ahead and just primed everything. Made sure it's all nice and neat. The primer's not fully dry just yet, but we did get the front bumper mocked up and the gaps look pretty already. Has no bumper bracket here, but once that gets clipped in and bolted down, it's nice and pretty just like that. The gap here looks a little funny, and the reason for that is because there's a bracket that goes in the center here. It gets pushed down and it kind of opens up the fender right over there. Gap here looks pretty. Nothing is bolted down. Everything is just, you know, on a couple of, it's hanging on by faith right now. But anyways, everything is nice and neat. Bodywork up there is done. This thing is ready for paint. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to paint this thing on the channel, just because it's one of those cars that we didn't really buy for the channel. It was more of a car that we just kind of bought to flip, to make money in between so we can continue building more cars. Guys, a quick little update. We do have another brand new build. There's one over there and there's one back over there. So there's two. We might be having a third one on the way. With all that being said, I appreciate every single one of you guys that watches these videos, smashes that like button. And if you guys do want to support the channel, please cop yourself some merch. We have this one here. It's going to be in the link down below, and hope you guys have a good day, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace out.